When it comes to black comedy in America, there's life before Def Comedy Jam, and well, you know the rest.
That's the legacy of Def Comedy Jam. It opened the door of who we are today as comedians.
From the minds of hip-hop mogul Russell Simmons and legendary director Stan Lathan,
that was genius, and they don't get enough credit.
Def Jam launches the careers of countless comedy megastars.
Def Jam introduced America to this brand of comedy.
Yo, Martin Lawrence was in his zone.
Uncut, in your face, unplugged, unapologetic.
Everybody was in kill mode.
Defines the 1990s.
It was fashionable, it was loud.
And remains a cultural phenomenon.
Def Comedy Jam stamped you in time, and it stamped you in the culture.
Just letting it go, butt naked, on the stage, and believing in yourself.
Not only is black comedy everything, people want to see it.
I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
Ladies and gentlemen, Def Comedy Jam.
What we created spawned a whole generation.
Uncut, in your face.
That guy has got it. First show I fell in love with.
Good time.
Jefferson.
Jefferson, movie star, that's rare.
Fresh new energy.
Multi-dimensional.
Unapologetic.
People want to see it.
Can't even talk about black comedy without
Def Comedy Jam. Eddie Murphy. Kings of comedy.
Kevin Hart.
fundamental to the black culture. When I hear the words Russell Simmons, Def Comedy Jam,
Wow.
I immediately think all the greats.
That's when I was like, oh, we can say anything?
She said, Mac. I said, yeah, that's my name. She said, can I ask you a question? I said, yeah. She says, does pussy taste like pumpkin pie? Made me mad as hell. I said, don't ask me no damn question like that. I ain't never had no pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
90s comedy, it was like boundary pushing.
Jesus is coming back like a thief in the night. The night, when you look at it, that's when you do most of your fucking up. You get that knock at that motel door? Who is it? It is I, my son. Girl, put your panties on, that Jesus at the door.
You didn't let us in the door, we kicked the door in, so this is our space to do our thing.
All the best black stand-up comedians, and there's a few white ones that was on there too. They come from Def Comedy Jam.
Yo.
Ryan Davis, what's up?
Oh man, Bill Bellamy.
What's up, baby? Hey, let's do it.
Hey, all the ladies in the house, make some noise.
About to make some history.
Let's make history, baby.
We're in the studio, man. We're in the studio.
This is a vibe.
We're gonna talk about Def Jam, and you know Def Jam is directly tied to music. Def Comedy Jam is one of the biggest, I don't know, black culture phenomenons ever.
This is where we as black comedians come together and unite as one. Come here, girl.
And that's just in the airport.
I always tell people when they ask me about Def Jam, just imagine the dream team. All these talented people waiting to get on. They are gifted, they have nowhere to go but up, but they need something to help. And Russell Simmons, shout out to him, give him his flowers, is that Russell gave us an opportunity to show the world that not only is black comedy everything, people want to see it.
First comedy we saw that was Def Comedy Jam like was Robin Harris.
If you want to get acquainted with me and my son, you'll have to take us to Disneyland. Ain't that a bitch? I went to pick up the next day, here she got 4 more kids. I said, who kids are them? She said, those are baby kids. I said, where the fuck is baby?
Because it was not only his show that he had in Crenshaw, but it was all the clubs around the country where this new group of comedians were emerging. And so there were great comedians all over the country, undiscovered. These people needed their exposure, and once people got a taste of it, and it became a cultural phenomenon.
Guy Teasy!
What up, man?
How are you, sir?
Yeah. Good?
This is nice. This your place?
Oh, yeah, it's my place. You know, we do a little something, man. Negroes in the house. I love this guy. My name is Guy T, y'all. Peace.
Russell Simmons.
Man, Russell, man, every time I see Russell, I get starstruck when I still see Russell Simmons. Because it's just that he's that guy, man, that, you know, between him and Stan Lathan coming up with the idea for Def Comedy Jam, man, I mean, that was genius, and they don't get enough credit. Along with Bob Sumner.
I know.
Bob Sumner, who booked every comedian you've ever seen on Def Jam. He went in these clubs around the country and picked these acts, you know? What we see today in Black Hollywood and Hollywood with the urban shows and everything, they had a lot to do to be the orchestrators of that.
It's the Russell Simmons Def Comedy Jam!
What was your role for HBO's Def Comedy Jam?
My role was to just travel all over the country for Def Comedy Jam and just like see him up close and personal. So when I came into the Comedy Act Theater and I saw D.L. Hughley,
Like, ain't you right next to that motherfucker?
and I saw Yvette Wilson,
Yes.
and I saw Ricky Harris,
Yes.
I knew that they were gonna be on my first season along with the guy over at Maverick's Flat named J. Anthony Brown.
Oh, you come home and smell chicken, but your punk ass won't find none. Some fucking ass done ate it all up, sitting in the living room sucking her fucking teeth. We ain't motherfucker.
You know, and I wanted to take Michael Collier from Venice Beach.
See, I love dreadlocks for two reasons. Number one, dreadlocks mean you stand up for what you believe in as a Rastafarian. And secondly, it means you'll never get a fucking job in America.
And show them that he could get on a stage and do what he does.
The only way you can do 100 miles an hour in a Hyundai is if you're going down a steep hill full of fat people with a heavy tailwind.
It's deeper than looking at links and tapes, because that's like when you send your best game film.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I ain't see how many times you got the ball stripped,
Right.
how many fumbles. You know what I mean? I'm coming to see you live.
How did you even get on Def Jam?
Bob Sumner, who at this time, he was my first manager. He was like, yo, man, hey, I think you're gonna be something, man. People like you, you cool, and you could be on TV, man. I'd like to help you. I said, who's this dude that talks slow like this?
Bill was a young kid coming in from Rutgers who I saw a lot of talent in.
At that time, Def Comedy Jam was bubbling. I was thinking I was going to perform regularly at the Uptown. I did not know Russell Simmons and all the HBO people were in the house. You know, that's why you always go hard, Ryan.
Yeah.
They always go hard, because you never know who in the audience. 5 people or 500, go hard. I do my thing, standing ovation. I come out, Russell meets me on the other end with these executives from HBO. And they were talking about this thing called Def Comedy Jam. Can I do Russell's voice?
Yeah.
First of all, I think what you did is absolutely amazing.
We would have these showcases, and I'd be amazed at how many great people came forward.
I love your charisma. I love what you're doing. I feel like you're epically the culture, and you bring so much swag to hip hop. And these white people here. They're all from HBO. They see you. They love you. You're gonna be on my show. I'm Russell Simmons. I had no idea who Russell Simmons was. So cut to everybody's like, yo, man, Russell Simmons was talking to you, man. What'd he say? What'd he say? I didn't know. I said, man, they doing something called Def Comedy Jam and shit. Cut back, call Bob. Bob said, that's what I was telling you, man. That's what's happening. You gotta be on it. What did Russell say? And I said, Russell said he liked me. He was like, yo, you gonna be on Def Comedy Jam. Boom, boom, bam. Auditions happened at the Peppermint. Bam, boom. That's how I got on TV.
New York is fly, but one thing I don't like about New York, man, when you come over here and you drive, every time, tell the truth though, when you park on a bad street, don't you always turn around and look at your car like you may never see that motherfucker again?
This show Def Jam was like, I call it Moses. It took a lot of brothers to the promised land.
Okay.
Took a lot of brothers to
Name
the
some
promised
of
land.
them.
I mean, come on. Martin Lawrence, Joe Torre, Eddie Griffin.
I know y'all seen the Rodney King beating came on every night, turned into a TV series. Well, let's watch the Rodney King beating tonight, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, roll up in his ass just for you.
Myself, to be completely honest.
We'd be late to our own funeral. Go to a black funeral, that's why they have an open casket, nigga coming down the aisle. Hold up, motherfucker.
Mike Epps.
You ever seen a motherfucker take some dirty Levi's out the clothes hamper and iron them? Iron smoke be funky as hell. Pants be shiny. Just look like blue leather pants. Nigga, iron chicken stains, jelly stain.
And that style of comedy was hot.
Define the style.
The style was uncut, in your face, unplugged, unapologetic. It was fashionable. It was loud. It was like straight to the punchline. We don't need the B-sides. We don't need that much setup. Just get to the motherfucking meat. Def Jam introduced urban black comedy into white neighborhoods because it was successful, and it was successful because white people were watching. Because black people didn't have cable back then. So HBO was transitioning into, they had, you know, the Taxi Cab Confessions, and they had the Hookers on the Point
Larry
or whatever,
Sanders
and they had Real Sex.
Yeah.
So that they were turning into that programming that was edgy.
Gotcha.
And so Def Jam fit right in there. Boom.
The 1990s, America, race, this huge transition period. We saw so many comedians launched, but we also saw an unabashed performing. We saw a liberation. We saw a manumission in the performing, because that's what we needed. We needed to say it loud again that we were black and we were proud. Def Comedy Jam allowed us to be liberated yet again, in my opinion.
When Def Jam broke out, Def Jam changed the whole game. You know, Martin Lawrence was at the height of his powers at that time, and they ushered in a new style of comedy.
Martin Lawrence was everything. Him as a host was crazy.
So y'all ready to have a good time? Yeah. Let me say it, huh? Yeah. Now louder than that. Yeah. Yes, what the fuck I'm talking about?
From New York City, it's the Russell Simmons Def Comedy Jam. With your host, Martin Lawrence.
What made Martin so great on Def Jam was the first time we saw raw hip-hop comedy, and the first time we saw real crowd work.
God damn. What kind of glasses you got on, man? Oh, no, it just threw me for a minute and shit. How many fingers? You seeing 8, motherfucker, stop lying.
Martin's crowd work was bar to none.
I'm just fucking with everybody. That's your lady right there? That's your lady. Hey, how you doing? I look nervous. Got your little, that's a lot of hair weave, baby, you know that. No, I'm just joking. No, there's a bald horse in Central Park.
His energy, and he would just mess with people in the audience, and he'd shoot on people. It was the first time we seen that. It wasn't this whole, like, every day you see people doing crowd work on Instagram, but imagine, like, it was no social media back then, so when Def Jam came on, we waiting for Martin to shoot at somebody in the audience.
We got Dr. Dre from MTV, give him a round of applause. Big ass Dre. You a big motherfucker to be hosting some shit. And Dre just don't give a fuck, he just...
How did Martin Lawrence come about?
Timing was everything.
Well, I've always heard that Def Jam was supposed to be for rock.
Why wouldn't it have been?
Blah, whatever your name is. Sound like something you catch on your feet. You see my boy?
Nah, I haven't seen him, sir.
You sure?
Why don't you go home and watch The Late Show, Pops?
Why don't you just go home? Little test tube, baby.
So we thought Robin Harris would be our host. Robin Harris, unfortunately, passed. So then I went to Eddie Murphy and asked him if he wanted to host it, and he recommended Martin Lawrence.
So when Robin passes, basically the torch is passed to Martin.
Yeah, oh, no doubt about it. Martin was a no-brainer, plus he was hip-hop.
Yo, Martin Lawrence was in his zone as the host of Def Comedy Jam.
Hey, where my music, man? Count it off. 1, 2, 1, 2, nigga.
Martin was doing stuff so off the head. His improv game was crazy, and he didn't give a fuck, bro. He would like call you out. He'd point over here, put the camera right there.
Lawrence Taylor and Ice-T. And Ice-T, yeah. Now what's up? Now hold on, what's up? LT, right, and Ice-T. What, man, what's up? Y'all got the same mother? What's up, man? What is she, an albino linebacker?
It just made this show like church, man.
That's another black cultural thing. Because
crazy.
if you're the host in any other culture, it's you here to set the tone,
No.
and bring the comedian out. Martin was like, I'ma stand him up, and good luck to you.
Oh, my man, Ed Lover, MTV. What's up, man? Give that a round of applause. And Todd won. What's up, Todd? You down with MTV? Todd won. You know who Todd Girl is, right? MC Light. And guess what? He got a tattoo on his chest, got MC Light on this shit. And I used to fuck her.
Martin Lawrence was literally on his rocket ship at this moment. You gotta understand, Martin Lawrence was Def Comedy Jam, and the Martin Show was like they was kind of like cooking at the same time.
Yeah,
So-
he had You So Crazy.
How do motherfuckers get this drunk?
He just came off a house party.
Yeah.
Just like he was.
It's cooking.
He was cooking.
So,
and he the face everybody know.
Everybody,
and
they don't know me.
And you gotta follow the guy everybody
cooking.
know.
What was Martin's appeal? Like you said, white people got a chance to really watch us and enjoy it. And I think a lot of it had to do with this master of ceremonies named Martin Lawrence.
Martin was just likable.
Right.
He was kind of like, you know, it was likable, it was funny.
Right.
He was physical comedy. He was well written, and he was just energetic. That just popped off the screen.
Right.
I guess when Martin stepped down, you know,
Joe was
Joe
a natural.
Joe was ready.
How you doing? I'm Joe Torre, new host of Def Comedy. Hey man, what's up, man? Don't mess this up. This is my time, okay? New host of Joe Torre, new host of Def Comedy Jam. I'm the new serpent. Where you getting from a liquor store? You can't even hold a count.
Back at the Comedy Store. I know I'm a little late, all right, but better late than never.
Let's have a good time.
Let's go! All right, Joe, before we get to you becoming the second host, how many episodes of Def Jam did you do before you got that call?
I headlined the first show.
What's up, baby? Got on her little outfit and boots and tights and shit. You a superhero?
I did the warm-up for every show Martin did.
You were the warm-up for HBO's Def Comedy Jam?
Because nobody wanted to do it. Everybody was scared. If I was on Saturday night and I got there Friday night, I was like, who's warming up for Martin? So I would just work my jokes out. I would just get used to the crowd. I'd be telling the stories, and to the point where a couple times they told me, take your staff thing off.
Oh, your badge.
Take your badge off. We recording this.
Right.
And they played it back on VH. A couple of them were my warm-up sets. I got warm-up sets they taped and put on Def Jam as my real set. Wow. Yeah.
My introduction to Def Comedy Jam was my brother, Joe Torre.
Joe Torre hosts Russell Simmons Def Comedy Jam.
Again, we didn't have cable television, so there was no flicking at the channels for cable to see what's doing. It was like, hey, I'm being on HBO. And the funny story is, you know, my parents lived in the city. My dad was telling everybody at church, his son gonna be on TV. His son gonna be on HBO, this comedy show. Right. No one knew what Def Jam was.
Right.
So my dad came over with a brand new VHS tape, you know, to put in the VCR to tape his son, Joe Torre, on national TV doing stand-up comedy. He done told his whole church, the entire church. Wow. So my dad came in with the tape, and took it out the wrapper, put it in the VCR on top of the television, and sat back down like a proud parent. And my brother came out with,
Look here, if you motherfuckers ready to laugh, let me hear you say hell yeah.
and my dad's face went from, and he's the smile taped to a frown.
So you're watching your dad watch this?
Yes, uncomfortable. So in the middle of Joe's set, my dad got up, he ejected the VHS, sat back down, and he enjoyed he watched the rest of the set.
Right.
But it was like, wow. And that's what kind of made me timid to do stand-up, because of how my dad reacted. But once, you know, he saw Joe making an honest living out of it,
right.
And it made it easier for me.
How y'all doing? Shit, y'all came out to laugh at me and say hell yeah. Applause for my man Kid Capri in the booth.
What made Kid Capri so great? Why was he the guy for the job?
Def Jam was cool because it was black people having fun
And the audience was so close to the comedian that when they reacted, like their leg ticking up, the screaming, it was like you just wanted to be a part of it. Even if you wasn't a comedian, like, I want to be there. That's what Def Jam brought to me. It was like the way they shot Def Jam, you wanted to be in the building.
Y'all welcome to Def Comedy Jam. Y'all give it up for the baddest DJ in the land, my man Kid Capri. What's up, kid? What's up, son? That's my New York stuff I just learned there. What's up, B? What's up, Hop? Word life, son. Word is bond, kid. You can just say them three all over again, you know what I'm saying? Just in that order.
What made Kid Capri so great? Why was he the guy for the job?
Because what that turned into was like having the Hypnotist at a comedy show. Having a concert and a comedy show at the same time. And that's what Kid Capri was. I mean, okay, how can you come to, oh man, I almost forgot it was a comedy show. Because he opened up with like 15, 20 minutes of just rocking, scratching, and wherever he went, he was a concert all by himself.
Right.
And himself was an artist.
By all means necessary, it's the Kid Capri. And as we put it on a little something like this for the Uptown crew.
What Kid Capri does is why DJs make money now. I think Kid Capri put DJs on the map as far as being universal.
Right, because
getting paid as much as they want to.
I can't imagine a comedy show now without the DJ.
Without the DJ? Well, can you imagine a party without somebody with the energy as Kid Capri now?
Right.
The energy.
You gotta be this.
Kid Capri, give it up for my man. That is DJ out there, yo.
Kid Capri was just a whole another concert where you was like, is this a comedy show? And we got comedy?
Right.
One more time for the baddest DJ ever, Kid Capri.
And that right there, man, I don't care how you feeling. You just gotta like, okay, if you ain't feeling like you're doing comedy, or you just got a jolt of something strong.
You don't know the fullness of Kid Capri until you've been to one of his shows.
Outside of a Def Comedy Jam.
Outside of a Def Jam.
Okay.
Like, Kid Capri is electric. It's just his voice, his energy, is that New York swag, that Brooklyn swag. And the thing about it is, during the tour, the Def Comedy Jam tour, and you got 5,000 people in there, man, and the way he would get them hyped before a show, it almost made you afraid to go out there.
What's up, man? What's up, G? How you doing? Give me something, man. Cause see, you know what? People don't really know how bad you are. So hook something up for me. You know, I'm a damn. Can I get a little lady to dance with me? Come here. What's it? This is my friend, and now you're on your television. Now, what the fuck up? I know Big Bird out of business, but what the fuck is
I think the outfits were trash, right? Let's just be honest. Everybody on Def Jam looked like they were on unemployment, and this is the best they can do, you know? And I don't know what the financial payout was for Def Jam back in the day, but it could have been a lot. And I don't know if they had like a wardrobe person backstage. I don't think they did. Because it was almost like every comedian came out like a stepdad. Tucked in shirt into their jeans, overcoat, like they just got off work, and after they said they had to go pick up their kid. That's the only bad thing about Def Jam. None of you niggas could dress. And I don't want you to get mad at me, because I can't dress, but we're not talking about me. We're talking about you guys, and all of you were bad. And you guys were very funny and pioneers of bad clothes. DL, in the 90s, you know, I used to watch you. You know, you had the, you know, flat top, everything. Your set was good, outfit was bad, you know. Bernie Mac, you know, rest in peace. If he was here, I'd tell him, you were funny, outfit trash. You know, but Eddie Griffin always looked like an angry little genie. He was funny, but if I rubbed a bottle, that motherfucker coming out.
Give it up for my man, Bernie Mac. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
Iconic sets on that first year, and we gotta think Bernie Mac. I ain't afraid of you motherfuckers. Eddie Griffin with the Michael Jackson. Chris Tucker.
Some
Here's a little fun fact. That leather vest he has on is mine.
Oh, that's your leather
Yes,
vest.
we were performing at the Fun House on Crenshaw. J. Anthony Brown was the host. And he was like, "Say, man, where you get that vest?" I was like, "Oh, I got it at this place called Shot on Melrose." He's like, "Let me wear it." I go, "Excuse me?" "Yeah, let me wear it. I'm doing Def Comedy Jam. I want to wear it." I said, "This ain't 8th grade where we exchange clothes." And so that vest you see is my vest.
Wow. So your vest made it before you.
The vest blew up before me, yes.
Def Jam imprinted on me comedy-wise, and I've seen some of the greatest sets I've ever seen, even to this day, on there. And I know you were there. What was backstage like?
The thing that made Def Jam so iconic was all of the hot black comics, man. And I mean, some not black, but the majority of black comics that you knew and you had seen over the years through other shows and other performances were all together, just on lineup after lineup after lineup.
Peace, y'all.
What was backstage like with all those comedians there,
It
man?
was so much pressure, bro. People don't understand. They don't talk about this. I wish we had cameras to film conversations in the hallways and stuff like that, because everything was about getting a standing O. Everybody was in kill mode, bro. I will never forget, bro, the first person that got booed. It was so crazy. Adele Givens had one of the best sets a girl could ever have.
I couldn't give him no blowjob. My big ass lips, his little old dick. It wouldn't work. That'd be like trying to give a whale a tic-tac, motherfucker.
Boom! Like you can hear the explosion coming through the walls. You in the back, you like, yo, somebody killing, somebody run back there. Yo, Adele just stood the whole theater up. You like, oh shoot, when you on? Next? You're like, oh my God, I gotta follow Adele. I'm backstage, me and Bernie. I think my room is here, Bernie's room is right here, right? So it's like a staircase, boom, boom. I'm on this staircase, and Bernie is right there. You see Bernie. Bernie said, "Man, what's going on down there, man?" I said, "Bernie, somebody kill it, right?" So Bernie said, "Oh, okay, these motherfuckers." He started, because I never forget, Bernie had like some jeans. He had some jeans on with his face on it or whatever.
Yeah.
He had the little wireframe glasses, right? Fresh fade. And Chris Tucker goes on.
Mike, I'm sorry, all I got is $100 bill. Girl, you been out here all day and all you got is $100 bill?
Murder! It's 2 murders in a row. Oh my God. Bernie, man, this is crazy, man. This motherfucker they playing tonight.
Are you telling me that Adele Givens, Chris Tucker, and Bernie Mac,
No, wait.
Night?
This is the same night. So get this, right?
Ain't no way.
Bro, it's so prolific, nobody talks about this. So the guy who goes on after Chris Tucker ate it.
Yeah.
Because Chris had him way up here. This goes to show you how somebody else's failure could be your success. So Bernie is like, "Man, I ain't come all the way out this motherfucker to get moved." So Bernie come down the staircase. We all running around there looking to see the guy. I could still see him. He had like a suit on. That made Bernie say, "I ain't scared of you motherfuckers."
I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. I'm gonna tell you something straight off the motherfucking press. I ain't coming for no foolishness.
Crazy.
And
had no plans on saying it or nothing.
How is that possible, bro? That's how I Ain't Scared of You Motherfuckers became what it was, because that guy got booed and Bernie said, I'm not taking the L.
You don't understand. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
The crazy part is that's black people for real, because somebody is killing up there. They're like, who is that on stage? Then somebody bombing. They like, who is that on stage?
We want to know failures and success.
I gotta know
Only black people.
Who is this nigga? I wouldn't have been good enough.
I ain't good enough. You got Jordan.
Yeah,
you got. It would be like having Jordan, LeBron, Anthony Davis, AI all in the same game, and they just hooping.
And they trying. They came in and was like, I'm coming with all my best stuff.
And that's what it felt like. So that energy is, to me, is what made people stars.
Who had the greatest Def Jam set ever?
I think Eddie Griffin Yeah,
Bill
those
Bellamy,
stand
Booty
out. Bill
Call.
Bellamy, Booty Call.
Women know booty calls. They're usually late. Ladies know when that shit come, they be laying in bed like, who calling me?
It was great because that's the only place at that time that you could be raw, because on TV you could not do that. It was cable. Cable provided the opportunity for you could be as original, you could be blue, or you could be middle of the way, or you could be all the way clean. You could do whatever way. If you go back right now in the 90s and look at some of them sets, they are directly correlated to events.
Yep.
Fucking O.J. Simpson. Everybody go, O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson. Fuck O.J. Simpson.
Anytime something is revolutionary and it's new and people don't necessarily understand it, there's always some pushback. New York Times said that you guys were a little too raunchy. There were some people who probably thought it was a little too black.
Well, I like being too black. It's interesting, like we're literally, I thought about this, we're literally cultural reporters.
Yes.
So, was it the OJ case?
King.
Was it Rodney King? Was it, there was a joke I did back in the day about the pregnancy test, right?
Everybody here seen those early pregnancy test commercials? You notice they only got white people in them? And everybody in the commercial was happy? I want to see a sister. I want to see a sister. Every brother here want to just see one sister go in the bathroom. She'll be in there, she'll be like, damn.
So that was the culture, right? That's a snapshot of perspectives, you know? It was more than just being vulgar. I think it was us screaming, you know, what's going on in our community, screaming about things that, you know, affected us.
Ain't our brothers are at a party. When we get together, we call each other niggas, you know, nothing negative, just be like, hey, what's up, nigga? Yeah. Oh, my nigga. What's up, boy? And my wife friend got all excited. She said, hey, what's up, nigga? The music stopped. Everyone looked at him. Man, he got his butt kicked that night. I mean, he got fucked up, you know. I hated to do it, but damn.
So how do you recreate Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, Martin Lawrence, Sid, look, Steve Harvey. Look at all these stars that just was coming. Jamie Foxx.
And that was the intro to
all of it.
them.
Everybody is coming up and they so hungry. Like, you're like, damn.
There's a whole era of black entertainment that starts at Def Jam. What does that mean to you? And who do you think of?
It was so many great things to come out of that wave. Black sitcoms, black people in commercials, comedy. Cats was jumping in movies real quick, you know?
Nah, even the movie Friday was pretty much solely casted from Def Comedy Jam.
Absolutely.
Excuse me, brother. What we call drugs at 74th Street Baptist Church, we call us sin.
Well, around here, between Normandy and Weston, we call this here a little twin. Wow. Nigga.
They was putting funny people in movies for one scene. Next thing you know, you see Jamie Foxx on his show, you see Martin on his show, you see Saturday Night Live. It's crazy.
You definitely spin off into your own television, movies. You were one of the first VJs I've ever known.
What?
You know? Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
What? Every morning.
Janet, welcome to MTV Jams. This is a Janet Jackson special, and her posse of women right here, dancers. They swing together, they play together, they go shopping together.
Everything. Everything.
Watch MTV Jams together.
I went from Def Comedy Jam. It looked like a rocket. So I get on Def Jam, you see me splash.
Shit, my booty on the way.
And then 2 seconds later, he's on MTV. It looked like boom, bam, right?
Yeah. People want to get down with you.
Next thing you know, I'm starting to get scripts. I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm getting scripts. Oh, shit. Russell said, I got a project for you. I think it'd be perfect for you. Getting caught is a bitch, so I've been told. The energy of How to Be a Player is having the best day of your life. And to this day, people love How to Be a Player. We got 30 or 40 movies that just hits the number for us, you know? And that movie is one of them, thank God. Yeah. Thank God. So shout out to the culture.
Tell me about, if you could think of anything that was just like instantaneous, somebody saw your set and they wanted you to be on any particular TV show or movie or do another set. Did any of that happen from doing a set on Def Jam?
Def Comedy Jam got me my first manager, which was actually, Burlstein Gray Entertainment, Stan Lathan and Russell Simmons. And then that led to, everything else.
Right.
That led to, when I first did Def Jam, I was still a PA, a production assistant on the Martin Show. And I remember doing my set and having a great set and then going right next door to the pub and getting on a payphone and calling to the set of Martin, because the PAs I was cool with and was emotional, man, I just did Def Comedy Jam. And then the next week I was back delivering scripts and getting coffee. But they let me off. They let me off to come to New York and film Def Comedy Jam.
What people don't realize about the 90s, there was a lot of firsts. Because you got to figure, right, hip hop was underground a little bit. It was coming to the surface to become pop culture. Black comedy was done in underground clubs and stuff. So the idea that we had one platform that could launch you was epic. It was literally like getting drafted to the league. You're grinding, you're Ryan Davis in the 90s, nobody knows who you are yet. You killing, but don't nobody know. We don't have social media, we don't have Instagram, you can't put up no clips. You just got tapes of yourself and people talking about you. That was me. So when I got that opportunity, or all my peers got that opportunity in the 90s to get that one shot to show the world that you're funny and get showcased, and we knew it was gonna air over and over and over again. That was your dream come true, basically. What you got a chance to do was be deemed one of the funniest people.
All of the people that came out of that, it's hard to, pinpoint anybody out of that is more successful than not, because everybody that came out of that era has an extreme value to where the game of black comedy is today.
My boy. Hey, what up, bro? Hey, good to see you, man.
ATL legend, icon, revolutionary, visionary, big homie Desi Banks.
You had me get a number 2 extra crispy with some okra.
Sir. We here, bro. The legendary Laugh Factory. I got my first viral stand-up video here.
Oh, that's hard.
But ladies, you don't ever want to hear your man say, wow, that's crazy either. Because that means he ain't listening to shit you saying. You doing a whole bunch of talking, this nigga's like, wow, that's crazy.
I've done this one time. I've done it one time.
That's black comedy right there.
For sure. I would say.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah, you know what the blackest comedy of all time is, though?
The blackest?
Def Jam.
Most definitely. Def Jam. It's got to be Def Jam.
Nowadays, comedians get their breakthrough social media. That's how we got on.
For sure.
Back in the day, it was Def Comedy Jam, though. What do you remember about Def Comedy Jam? Def Jam. Did you watch it growing up? Or did you have to sneak, or did your mom watch it or whatever?
My mom was a big fan. I used to listen to it. She didn't allow me to sometimes go in there, but I can hear it though.
Head on the door?
Of course.
Or with the cup?
And I just, what you doing? What you doing? I see you. Back then I was more into the movies, but when I started to become a real student, that's when I really started it. Of course I knew about it, you know, but I wasn't like, oh, I'm watching it. They was killing shit. That shit was sticking back then.
Marvin Dixon had a bit where he stripped completely down to
oh, damn.
Bikini underwear.
Naked.
And as a kid, man, you had to peel me up off the floor, bro.
And then there was a lady too, I just seen this not too long ago. She came on stage and she was taking shit out of her bra.
I think she had a gallon of liquor in between her breasts and no one saw it.
Yes.
That's a lot of titties.
Cheers.
Me and you got our break on social media.
For sure. I'm a lambtherian, you know what's going on.
Desi Banks was one of the ones in the forefront. Do you think about that?
I think about it a little bit now, only because I transitioned. outside of social media and actually start, doing stand-up. Like a lot of people don't transition.
Oh no,
from
they
social
scared of that stage. They scared of that.
And I'm just very thankful that I was one of the ones who actually took it serious to this day. Like, in order to get into these big movies, to be this big person, you still have to get respected as a real comedian.
Yeah.
In this world.
I remember it was a quote told to me by this comedian. He's horrible. His name's Chris Spencer.
Cause I was like, he over there.
No, I know he is. Chris, I love him. So, but Chris was like, there's a whole bunch of forms of comedy, but in stand-up, it's written, produced, and performed by you. That's the purest way.
For sure.
That's how you find out if you really that.
I think also stand-up, it allows you to find yourself, like your real self.
It's really you.
Yeah, like, a lot of people do skits, but I think a lot of people just do skits.
But that's why I think Def Jam was so huge, because we saw our culture authentically presented to the audience.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And all those people was
Yeah.
Let's look at that, like what that show did for a lot of people. You got a lot of people, TV shows, like I said, movies.
Yeah.
Like, damn, we need more of people being in that world,
Kings
man.
of Comedy is a top 3 highest grossing concert comedy. We are introduced to all of them through Def Jam.
Exactly.
That's how big of
For sure.
They'll say we can't do a Def Jam because of cancel culture or whatever, but I think
why
we need to do it because it's anti-cancel culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the one thing about our culture is we say whatever we want in our house.
For sure.
And Def Jam is our house.
What's the legacy of Def Comedy Jam?
The introduction to the next frontier of what you're seeing now. That's the legacy of Def Comedy Jam. It opened the door of who we are today as comedians. I think actors, entertainers, just letting it go, butt naked, on the stage and believing in yourself. That's the legacy of Def Comedy Jam.
When we had the Def Comedy Jam reunion, man, I mean, from Cat Williams to Steve to Dave to DL to Sid, I mean, you're just going down, and everyone has a snapshot moment of each other.
Get up on your motherfucking feet!
What up? All right, everybody, sit down and get ready for some public school reading.
So what do you think Def Jam's overall legacy is?
Giving the gift of black comedy to the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? It's so impactful, and you somehow was able to sum it up short and sweet. That's exactly what it is.
Exactly what it is.
You would rather get your hair done and go swimming than see a brother with a white girl.
I got this whole outfit from the Slauson swap meet and shit. I'm feeling good than a motherfucker.
When you think about the history of black comedy, where in that does Russell Simmons' Def Comedy Jam sit?
Number 1.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of, and we've had some other shows that we don't have to name that have been very successful, but there's nothing like what Russell created.
It opened everybody's eyes to how amazing black people are and how awesome we are and how everybody talked about different stuff.
Right.
And it would be like, some stuff would be so dark and you'd be like, how they gonna make that funny? And it'd be like, bam, it hit.
I think what makes Def Comedy Jam is so iconic is if I could go anywhere and say, thanks for coming out, God bless you, good night.
You know exactly.
And you know exactly what I'm talking about, and that had nothing to do with the comedy. Him just saying that at the end of every episode was iconic.
Thank you for coming out. God bless you, good night.